Are we recording?
We're recording.
Good morning and welcome back to my poetry YouTube channel. So I'm currently with my wife Rachel in our mini Winnebago RV. We're at Shaver Lake. I wanted to discuss a few things about my upcoming year as Poet Laureate and all the exciting events and speakers and workshops we have coming up, and about poetry things that are not necessarily in-person events, which you can also get involved with, and what they mean to me as I move into the second year of my 2-year term. First of all, we have so many poetry events happening in Malibu. Malibu and poetry is increasingly becoming synonymous with each other, which is one of the things that I've been wanting to cultivate from the outside in, but anyone that's already within the community will know that there's a bustling poetry scene. Now that has been typified with increasing attendances to our monthly Caffeinated Verse series, where we have a featured reader come in and read their poems for 15 minutes, followed by a Q&A with that poet, so we learn about their process, some about their poetry, some about themselves autobiographically, and then we have an open mic, which anyone that's come to that open mic from the outside that I've spoke to about it are like, wow, that open mic is really, really strong. There are so many good poets there, and that makes me feel really good because I completely agree. There are many strong poets in and from Malibu, but also from the surrounding areas who are trickling into Malibu more and more to come to the events because they're experiencing how great they are firsthand. For those of you that haven't been able to experience one of the Caffeinated Verse featured reader events, there are some on YouTube, so that have at least the featured reader. We don't put the open mic readers up on our videos, but you can see some of the great features that we have. Coming up this year, we have a host of amazing features already. We're booked out until January as of the time of recording. So we have Ronald's Cortage in September, who's going to kick us off. In October, we have the former Poet Laureate of the United States. So someone with a far higher degree of laureate competency than me. Robert Hass, he's coming to read in October. I am extremely excited and honoured that he's making his way down from Northern California to feature for us, and there will just be a host of great poetry and learning from him. November, we have Michael Mark, whose most recent chapbook that was published by Rattle, which you most likely have heard of if you're in the poetry magazine scene. He'll be reading for us in November. The last two readers that we have booked so far, we have Cynthia Good, who has just released a new poetry book through Fishing Line Press, which she's going to read from for us in December. And then we have in January Lynn Thompson, a very well-known, relatively local, respected poet, and I cannot wait to hear her read as well. And for the Caffeinated Verse, there's tea and coffee provided, so even if you don't even know if you like poetry or not, you probably like tea or coffee, so you can come and just drink that and enjoy yourselves. For Caffeinated Verse, there is an open mic, as I said, after the features, but the open mic is optional. If you would like to share one poem, which is our limit, you can sign your name up and come and share one. If you just want to participate as a spectator and a listener, that's also fine too. There is no pressure to share anything, but you are welcomed and encouraged to do so however you like. The other thing we have is we have the Ripple Effect Generative Poetry Workshop. Now when I say generative, I do not mean AI. It's actually an AI-free zone where I put together themed classes with a selection of poems that we read from, and then I provide prompts and we sit there and write together. This is an event that's open to poets of all perceived abilities. I say perceived because we often can think of ourselves as more or lesser than maybe where we are, but that doesn't matter. So beginners, intermediates, experts, whoever, we just come and we sit and we write together. Optional sharing. And I will say, for the Ripple Effect workshops, I've had people, even in their 90s, write the first poem of their life in it. And I've had others who have been writing poems for 50 or more years in there as well. So they really are just a freeing, opening event that you are more than welcome to come to. For the events, all are welcome. They are predominantly adult events though, because it's a sensorless themes, so people can get up and read what they want to read about. So you can take that in whatever way you want. If you are not from Malibu and you want to get involved in more of the poetry, I have a website where you can put your email in and you will receive not just things about local events and what I'm up to, but also blogs and writing prompts and updates on poetry videos. So the idea is you'll have events that you can come to. We're eventually going to do online events, so there's going to be no barrier to entry geographically. But you'll also receive things that are going to help improve your craft as a poet and to give you ideas for writing and to give you updates and thought-provoking and interesting blog posts about poetry. One thing I want to give a big shout out to the Malibu community about, it's simultaneously tight-knit but open, so that people are really close here. The community is really strong. People are there for each other and willing and always talking, deeply with each other and helping each other out. But when new people come in, there's open-armedness invitation, and that has been consistent. I mean, since I've been here, I've only lived here for coming up 7 years, and when I started going to the poetry events, I was instantly brought in. So I felt I experienced that on a personal level, and I've had feedback from others who have said the same thing. So yeah. And my wife is at a lot of the events and she's great, so you get to see her as well as choking up. You get to see her as well as being bored or amused by me.
Do you need water? There's a water
Yeah.
bottle over there. I also want to ask you, what does it mean to you to be the Poet Laureate of Malibu?
It's hard to find one succinct answer, but I'll be as succinct as I can, considering the caffeine is thundering around my body and I feel the temptation to speak really fast and get overly excited. It means so much to have been entrusted with a community position where I get to serve a community of people, where I get to help nurture and grow the poetry community, where I get to know people on a level that's really deep and meaningful. And I said this a while ago, but poetry is the antithesis or the opposite of small talk. And when someone reads a poem, they might get up and the first thing you learn about them is a grief experience or an experience of ecstatic joy, which often, when you meet someone, you're like, hey, how you doing? What do you do for work? Sometimes you don't go much beyond these more surface questions. So I'd say it means a lot to me because I'm constantly getting into these deep conversations very quickly and getting to really know people closer to their core than I think I might otherwise. The main thing, it just feels really good to be trusted by people, to have a position where I can positively affect a community in helping bring about expression, helping keep the openness, helping bind people together, helping just make events that are meaningful and fun. And it just feels really good. And I'm just one part of the whole of what the community is. And I just currently have, the short-term position that the torch was passed to me, and soon enough I'll be passing the torch onto someone else. But it's an absolute honour to do it. So anyone that's watching this that I either know or a part of this community, just thank you. It really means a lot and gets me quite emotional. And I honestly could not do this without the support of my wife, Rachel. One, she is recording this video, and she will most likely, if I ask her very nicely, edit this video for me. And she has done so much work as well, so it's kind of like I might be the named in this position, but this is also a joint effort. Now she will modestly say, oh, I don't really do much, but she does a ton. She does a lot. She comes to the event, people come in. We've had events where there's not enough seats were put out, which is great because that means a lot of people are coming. But I see her like run around the back. She'll get chairs out. She'll make sure the door's shut if there's noise out there. She'll make sure people are signing up to the mailing list. She'll help me like do stuff with my website, which she designed. She'll help me with my mailing list. She'll help me with my YouTube channel. So these are joint efforts, and to me that's also makes me feel really good that we're sharing in this project, and that she's a fundamental aspect of this community and the success of whatever happens with poetry in the city of Malibu.
Aww.
So
how cute. Thank you.
There's some gush. If you're a poet, a poetry enthusiast, or poetry curious, I very much appreciate if you can click the like button. I'd love to hear your comments on anything that you'd like to see as for poetry events generally. And this channel, like poetry itself, is a dialogue. I'd love to hear in the comments what you'd like to see on this channel, what sort of poetry content you're looking for, and I will take anything into consideration, and I will always read your comments, and I'll do my best to get back to them as well. For more videos about poets, poetry, poems, and other good stuff, please click subscribe and share. It really helps me build this channel, and we can get the poetry tendrils out to more people, and Lord knows we need poetry to get out to more people. Furthermore, there's a link to my website below. If you want to stay abreast of poetry events and you want to receive things like writing prompts and blogs about poetry and all the rest, please click the link below, enter your email and subscribe to my mailing list and join hundreds of other poets and poetry enthusiasts on there. It really is growing, and it's going to continue to be something that's extremely special. It's been wonderful. I'll see you soon. Cheers. That was one of the weirdest sips of coffee I've ever had.